Welcome back, everyone. Aaron Hosmer Jered Dean here, South Bay Grading. I had previously promised you guys a video on daily logs, something that your superintendent typically fills out every day you're on a job. So here's an example of an A plus, in my opinion. This is U Concrete, Mr. Jaime De Leon, for the Tracy Inlet structure we did for Toll Brothers, and so I'll show you here. It was a 8 working day job. He gave us a tag for every single day, labeled by work day, which is great. So here you see his sign-in sheet. He's got the date, his job number, names of employees, times in, times out, employees signed. So here we go. This is work performed, continue work on excavation, layout slab edge, set form slab edge, 2 steel rumble plates, off haul 2 loads of dirt, mini excavator. So he's got what he did, what type of equipment he had out there, and then his rental equipment, and he even puts the plate number on here, which is great. Injury checklist, breaks taken, and then here's his safety meeting right here. So he went over excavations and trenching, which is a relevant thing for what he was doing on that workday. Meeting time and date, additional notes, all the guys signed it, and then he's got photos. So here's Valpico Road in Tracy. He's showing that he's got cones for a lane transition, bringing his equipment in. Getting you everything you need to know. Here's his area where we put basically one of these guys in right here, and then the drainage pipe. So when this thing fills up, water is going to flow in here and go across the street over to what I don't know exactly because I didn't have the plans, but I think they're basically going to use this rainwater runoff to feed the lakes over at the housing development across the street, which is kind of cool, So here's his guy cutting the slot out for the trapezoidal shaped intake structure. Hard hat, vest on. I mean, you can't really ask for much better than this. Digging. Hard hat, vest. Got a guy down there checking the grade. So, and there's his slot. So this is the footing or the slab. This is the footing hole. And then the walls come through here. So he's basically got his rough cut done in one day, puts up some danger tape. He put steel plates over where USA marked some utilities coming through. So his equipment and delivery trucks, it's less chance of them crushing any existing pipes because you just, that's always a shame when you damage something that's out there and you got to go in and fix it. No one figures money in their budget for that. So it comes right out of your profit margin in the end. And if you don't know what USA is, that's the 811 call before you dig, underground service alert, USA. So anytime you are on a job, you need to mark the perimeter of the job for USA, and they'll come out with their locators, PG&E, water, gas, fiber, the electric companies, and they'll come out and they'll locate their utilities, spray paint them, let you know here's where everything's at, so you have an idea of where everything is. They will only do the off-site, meaning stuff in the public right-of-way. Here's the next day of work. Same thing. I think these ones are out of order. This says day 1. This says up here says day 2. So he just mislabeled them. I'll give him a break on that because, I know what I'm looking at here. He's got, this actually is day 2. So he just mislabeled it on there. Yeah, because this is further along. Either way, I mean, we did this job. We contracted this job out to U Concrete, and I think Sean and I went out to the site a total of 4 times combined. It was a really hands-off job for us. I probably spent about 20 hours procuring some materials, in the pre-construction phase and going through submittals with Jaime, making sure he had all the info he needed, and turned out pretty sweet. Here's the final product right here. So, bam. There's the trash rack that goes on it. So he's got here, right here is a lift. It's a, what was that thing called? A gate valve. So this thing goes into this wall right here, and it has a little knob on top, and it opens this thing, and then the water can flow in. So you can shut it off and open it. So there he is, putting the valve gate in place. There's the gate right there. See, here's another example of one. And then he threw the trash rack on and called it a day. So there's your example of dailies. Super important, especially, you know, if you're trying to figure out what you did a month ago. It's super valuable to be able to look back and go, hey, no, Mr. Owner, we were here on this day and I had this equipment out there. And, you know, it really helps with change order negotiations and just kind of keeping track of your schedule, because it's easy to get lost. You know, all of a sudden you look up and 2 weeks went by, and I don't know about you, but I can't remember what I did 2 weeks ago unless I look back through emails and go back through my notebook. And so memorializing it with dailies, super important. I mean, and if you're in general in life, if you don't have a little notebook that you carry around with yourself, and, you know, I just go day by day. Every day I come into the office, I have a notebook. I'd write the date at the top, and then each project I'm working on, I put a header as items come up, whether it be, you know, project X, Y, and Z, and then I just start writing a checklist of stuff I have to do with a square to the left of it. And as I get that stuff done, I exit off, and then the next day I move that stuff over to the next list. There's software that will do that for you, but it's always nice to have a book because you don't have your computer on you at all times if you're out in the field. So that wraps it up for dailies. I'm going to probably put out a video on insurance next. Just we made a checklist of our insurance requirements and things you should be thinking about. I tend to defer to our broker on that stuff, but it's you know, because it's so, you know, it's like a different language to me. I'm learning more and more every day, and each project is different. I generally know what to look for, but it's always good to have a good insurance broker that you can call on the phone and who's responsive. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.